Okay, so you've got everything installed, and now it's time to actually learn how to navigate the interface. The good news is this is incredibly simple, and it makes it really easy to make good custom content. I'm just going to sort of walk you through, I'm going to sort of point out everything, and then in the later videos we'll actually get into what it all actually does, right? So this is the main interface. You have this area down here on the bottom, you have this pane on the right-hand side, the big workspace in the middle, and a bunch of stuff going on up here, and we're going to touch on each one of those elements very quickly. So the way the software works, the fundamental idea is that you have this, and all of these cues are what are sort of live right now. And in order to trigger one, you just simply click it, and the laser shoots it out. Now you'll notice the laser has not shot anything out yet, and the reason why is because I have not yet clicked this Enable Laser Output button. This is a safety thing. If you ever need to turn it off, you just click that button, the laser will shut off whatever it's doing, whatever it's in the middle of doing, it'll just turn off, right? So I'll go ahead and enable laser output, and out comes the line that I just clicked a moment ago. If I want to change a pattern, I just click, I just click, I just click. Whatever you want to click, you change the pattern. If you're using a touch screen, which this is not, but if you're using a touch screen, you just touch it and the pattern changes. If you're too lazy to touch it or move the mouse and don't even want to have to move your arms, you hit a keystroke on the keyboard and the laser will do whatever is assigned to that letter in that cell. You have 60 cues that are in here for you to choose from, and they are organized into this thing that we call a workspace or a page. And you'll notice up here along the top of the screen there are a whole bunch of other pages. Right now I'm on the statics page, but here's the mixed page and the mixed one page and the hot beams page. Each page is sort of organized by its content type, but you can put whatever you want on whatever page. You can add pages, you can delete pages, you can do whatever you want. This is just the basic workspace that comes with Quickshow XL, right? So I'm going to go back to statics here. I'm going to go ahead and turn this off, and I'm going to talk to you about a few of the other things that we have going on in this workspace. So you'll notice up top, this area up here I told you about before, that you have this thing called toggle, and you have restart and flash. Those three buttons are going to control how the cue gets executed. Toggle is just simply what it sounds like. It toggles on, it toggles off. Very, very straightforward. Restart you would both best see with an animation. So let me click an animation like the lightning, right? So you see, you saw the lightning went. Restart will restart the lightning from the very beginning every time that I click it, just like that. If I go with flash, what will actually happen is that the cue will fire for as long as I hold the mouse down. As soon as I let it go, it'll go away. Touch screen, same deal. Touch it, as soon as you let go, it'll turn off. Toggle is usually most people's favorite, so we'll go ahead and stick there. All right, so going over here, we have this thing called the transition button. And the transition button, quite simply, creates an animated transition between cues, if you will. So if you click, you have the vertical line on right now. If you click the horizontal line, it'll animate a change to that line. If you are using two different image patterns, it'll morph between the two patterns. The other option would be just a simple hard cut. Line, 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 line. Or if you want to animate your transition, boom, boom, boom. It's nice to do the transitions, especially if you're shooting out through the air, so it's not just bam, 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 but you actually have nice swooping curves and stuff going through the air. Looks really, really good. Also against a wall, too. Then you have this area called one cue and multi-cue. So one cue is by default what most people are going to use. You click a cue, and you click another cue, and when you click the second cue, the first cue quits. So here's one, there's another, here's one, there's another. Pretty straightforward. If I click down here, I go to a totally different cue. If you click on multi-cue, you can actually layer cues on top of each other. And that becomes very important if you're wanting to put multiple things in the same scanner field, or if you have these set up to different zones and want different projectors to fire different cues at the same time. We'll get into zones a little bit later. But just the point here is that if I'm in one cue, I can only have this or that. One or two. One or two. I can't have both of them at the same time, as you saw just a moment ago. Then you have this thing called virtual laser jockey, which we're going to talk about in more detail, but basically what it is an automated way of going through all of the cues in the workspace such that you don't have to sit here and press every little single button. You can make yourself a page of custom cues or just use one of the stock pages that's there, click the laser jockey button, and it'll literally just bounce through cues every couple of beats. Right now we're at 87.4 BPM, but you can BPM tap. We'll talk more about it in a later video, but it's a really cool little feature that you can play around with. I'll go ahead and turn that off. Now, you'll notice Everything on this page, in fact, the page is even called statics, but yet this thing behind me is spinning. That's because in live control, just a moment ago, I set it up so that it would spin. We're going to start here on the zoom sliders. This will allow you to zoom different aspects of your pattern. I'm just going to make the pattern stand still just for a second so I can show you this. This zooms it that way, this zooms it that way. Pretty straightforward. If you want to lock X and Y, it'll zoom it together. Really, really easy. Down here in the position window, if you grab and hold, you can drag it up, you can drag it down. You can drag it up, you can drag it left, right, around, whatever you want to do. If you don't like where you've ended up, click reset position. It'll go back to 0, 0, so at the center of the pattern. It's centered right in the middle of your frame. Now, a moment ago I had it spinning, and the way that I did that is I can take these guys and make very fine adjustments to position a pattern however I want. Or, alternately, I can click reset and flip it back and then make adjustments this way using these dials. The left-hand set of dials makes permanent static adjustments. The right-hand set of dials makes things move around the X, Y, and Z axis. So if you have a corporate logo you want to throw up on a wall, you want to make it rotate, it's just a quick little dial press to make the thing spin around, animate it, looks really nice. Okay, so I'll go ahead and reset that, and let me show you color. Little slider here, real simple. Pick the color you want, laser spits it out. If it's an analog laser, it'll do all the shades in between. If you want it to run through all the colors just so that you can see it, you can click the little arrow button there, and it'll just sort of run through all the colors however it feels like doing it. Brightness is only works when you have an analog laser. Visible points we'll get into a little bit later. And then you have this thing called animation speed and animation scan rate. Let me hop over to one of the animation pages and pick one of those. Here, we'll do the little spinny ball here. So this is an animated pattern, and this one has a particular speed to it, right? So if I go down here, I can adjust the animation scan rate so that I can push it up and make the pattern spin faster. Pretty straightforward, right? I can also increase the scan rate, which is how fast the laser is drawing the image, and push it up to try and make the image flicker less, but in so doing, I'm putting a lot more stress on my scanners. This is something that you need to be really careful with. So I don't want to go too far into that right now, but just know that it's there in case you need a little bit more speed now and again. I'll go ahead and put that back down to 100%. Okay, so now I've got this thing, it's spinning around. Let's say that I want to pause it. I can just simply click the pause button and the thing will stop exactly where I've left it. Again, really straightforward. You have pause, you have blackout, and you have enable and disable laser output. There's almost nothing that you can't do with this in terms of live control, and you can actually very, very easily animate still things to make them do interesting things. Now, I want to show you one other area of the screen, which is this area down below. This is the Quick Tools tab. And sort of tabbing through here, you have the Quick Effects tab that we're on right now, the Quick Capture tab, the Timeline, the Quick Trace, the Quick Shape, and the Quick Text. Each one of these will allow you to make custom patterns very, very quickly and very, very easily. We're going to go through each one of these in separate videos, but the basic idea is this. You can take almost anything that's built into the interface that you can scan in from a JPEG, as we'll show you in a later video, and then manipulate it in whatever way you want, build shows out of it, create really rich, unique custom content, especially with the additional content in the X-Laser Quickshow XL package, and do almost whatever you can imagine. The usefulness and the ease of the interface is what this program is all about and should help you get the most out of your laser. This is video number 2, Navigating the Interface. Stay tuned for the rest of the videos in the series where we're going to cover all these tools in a whole lot more depth.